stoning. Welcome to Fast Food Films, home of the 6-minute movie. Our films are short takes on the originals, but with a twist. We show you just enough to make you want to see the whole flick without giving away the story or ending like some trailers do. And we do it 3 times in a half hour. That's 3 movies served up our way. Just think of the time you're gonna save. And when we're done, we'll tell you how you can get your hands on your own personal copy of these hard-to-find movies. Got it? Good. Moving on. First up is Masterpiece of Murder, a made-for-television movie from the 80s starring a guy in his 80s. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary, the comedian's comedian, America's ambassador of goodwill, Mr. Bob Hope. For his co-star, Bob went for a younger actor. You know, to bring in the kids, 78-year-old Don Amici. In Masterpiece of Murder, Hope plays a private detective who wants to solve one last big case before he retires. So, he and Amici, an old friend, if you'll pardon the expression, go on the trail of a missing painting. And pretty soon, they get mixed up in murder. Well, otherwise the title wouldn't make much sense now, would it? So, put on something double knit, take out your teeth, and pop a Viagra. Here's our Fast Food Films take on Masterpiece of Murder.
Are your jokes falling on deaf ears?
I'll give you 20 bucks.
25.
15.
Okay. I'd argue longer, but I can't afford it.
Is your career running on empty?
Only 20 miles left, and you decide to make espresso.
Do you find yourself sitting around waiting for the phone to ring?
Yeah.
Hello, Danny. Jonathan.
Who?
Do you remember the good old days?
I remember the good old days.
Welcome to Shecky Burns' home for the old and no longer funny. It's the perfect place for the crusty old hack,
Who are you?
the has-been, and the never was.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's proof there's life after death.
The Shecky Burns home for the old and no longer funny has been servicing the show business community for 25 years. If an entertainer is all washed up and his career is going nowhere, you can be sure to find him at Shecky Burns.
Hey, you know who else is here?
Pee Wee Herman.
Shecky Burns villas are designed for single or double occupancy, perfect for the sagging solo act or the crumbling comedy team.
We're a team. He's like a credit card. I never leave home without him.
At Shecky Burns' home for the old and no longer funny, our trained help will give you the recognition that you're used to. Remember, at Shecky Burns, we treat you like the king you once were or thought you were. Enjoy dining in our fabulous Sad Clown Cafe.
An amusing little brandy.
Or rinse off that flop sweat by taking a dip in Golden Pond, our world-class swimming pool.
Hey, that's some swimmer, huh?
And if you enjoy that, you'll be happy to know that every resident is assigned his own personal hooker.
Why, you little slut.
Well, dusty, but not rusty.
On weekends, catch a falling star at Catch a Falling Star, our award-winning comedy nightclub.
World-class party, huh?
Where you can be sure to find the finest in second-rate, third-rate, and even fourth-rate entertainment.
Oh, there's Jamie Foxx.
Now appearing Jamie Farr until the year 2002.
All right, everybody, gather around. Come on now, I know you're all here. I'm counting noses, starting with me first. 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6.
And so you'll never find yourself playing to an empty house, we've installed laugh tracks and applause machines in every room.
Don't act your age. My age? That's somewhere between Blue Lagoon and Cocoon. Closer to Cocoon. I don't break dance.
Our impressive art gallery features a collection of old masters, just like yourself.
Not much of an artist, was it?
Our high-tech security system will keep out any unwanted guests, like over-enthusiastic fans or groupies. Not like you have anything to worry about. And when the final curtain falls on your life,
He's dead. Yeah, and I bet it wasn't the hors d'oeuvres.
you don't have to worry. Our 24-hour on-staff corner will ensure that your final exit is as quick as it was long awaited.
Sooner or later, everybody ends up with it.
Whether it's enjoying the company of friends,
The Three Musketeers.
Would you settle for 2.5?
You jerk! You crunched my fender.
Oh, not to worry. I saved the other 3.
Shecky Burns' home for the old and no longer funny is the perfect punchline to the joke, which is your career.
You know, Frank, if it weren't for tripping over bodies all the time, this lifestyle wouldn't be so bad.
Hey, how about those cameo roles, huh?
Aren't they something?
Yvonne DiCarlo, Jamie Farr, Ann Francis, Frank Gorshin, Jane Meadows, Stella Stevens. Wow. Hey, I want to tell you, with this cast, this movie would have been just as big a hit in 1956 as it was in 1986. Because actors, like fine wine and this movie, just get better with time.
You know what I'm saying?
You can see all these big stars and even more in the full-length masterpiece of murder, now available on home video. We'll show you how you can get a copy later in the show. Coming up next, how to nail a fella. And later, how about a hot steak? Take a minute to compose yourself. We'll be back with more fast food films after this. Fast Food Films, where we'll show you a movie in about the time it takes to scarf down a corn dog. Hey, you think revenge is sweet? Then you're gonna love our next flick, They Call Me Macho Woman. It's an empowerment fable about a young widow who only wants to buy a house in the country, but instead ends up battling a deadly gang of drug-running goons. Boy, the real estate people never tell you about that part. Oh, sure, the goons think the city girl will go down in round 1, but they don't count on one thing. She's Macho Woman. She's strapping on sharp objects of every description and leaving bad guy innards all over the countryside. Wham, bam, stop stabbing me, ma'am. So get ready for a little women's lib, trauma style. Here's our fast food films take on They Call Me Macho Woman.
Once upon a time, in a land far from crime, filth, and minorities, there lived a legend known as Susan Princess Warrior. But how did this princess become a princess warrior, you ask? Well, pull up a chair, have a nice decaf 1% mocha latte, and I'll tell you the story. I mean, the legend. The princess had always been beautiful, tastefully dressed, and gracious.
Well, Miss Morris, if you're ready, I have everything I need to show you that nice little piece of property.
Please call me Susan.
She was looking for a new life and maybe a new husband when the gods intervened. The gods of radial tires, that is. While seasons changed the tire, the princess made a tinkle in the woods, and that's when she saw a large Gentile named Mondo making something suspicious. Drugs. And not good drugs like the appetite suppressants and mood stabilizers that helped her get through her 3-hour lunches. Despite the fact that he lived in an exclusive zip code, Mondo was evil. And he was afraid the princess would gossip and ruin his little secret. Go figure.
Wait, please help me out.
I'll get help. Trust me. Trust me. I will.
What kind of person are you?
What kind? A man, honey. Leaving is what men do best. The princess was captured by a man with one of those icky nasal rings, très gauche. He thought the princess was just some weak little whore. But no, she wasn't weak at all. They took the princess into the forest and tore her favorite Bounty's deception panties. She was so angry that she really gave him an earful. The princess warrior began to emerge. Is that so wrong? Mondo's men left her with a schwitzing blue-collar type. She played hard to get, like any princess would, unless he was a handsome, eligible, 6-figure gynecologist.
Untie my hands, and I'll really show you how to make love.
Okay. It seemed like she wasn't playing hard to get, but she had a plan, all right? Just wait. She knew from long experience that men only have one thing on their mind.
Kiss me.
And honey, I'm not talking shopping. Not tonight, honey. You have the headache. Anyway, she went from the frying pan into the fire, which was uncharted territory since the princess rarely cooked. The evil Mondo was going to kill her with his evil Mondo helmet, which had been passed down as an evil heirloom from his evil grandmother, Sylvia the Yenta. But I digress.
Oh, jeez. A f***ing unicorn.
Now you die.
Not so fast, Spike.
Quick thinking saved her skin, which the princess kept moisturized by using aloe vera lotion twice a day, especially around the bikini line, a spot that sometimes gets itchy. Can we talk? The princess found a way to escape. Unfortunately, it involved a manual transmission, not a strong suit for princesses with French manicures. She had to fight back. And so the princess became a full-fledged princess warrior. You go, darling. Of course, she'd need some divine little weapons, as well as a little warrior ensemble that combined style and function while being just plain adorable and slimming, too, because she could look a little hippie in the wrong clothes. She got that from her mother, rest her soul. Her chic new look got her noticed by Mondo's band of Goyim.
Hey, Mondo! Mondo, come here, man! Look at this! Nice outfit.
And it also gave her the self-esteem to assert herself.
You can push me, but you can only push me so far. Now, it's my turn.
Oh, is she good?
Yeah!
Her outfit was simply to die for, and so were her accessories. Her death spikes were by Donna Carrot, New Jersey, $19.95 for the set. Her delicious, shiny throwing axes were by Jay Hatchett. Call me. My sister can get them at cost. And her sassy leather whip was by Dames of Hollywood. Entree knew it was last season's. Who knew?
Get her!
The princess lured Mondo's men deep into the bush, which she knew like the back of her hand. Watch the nose! You think it's easy to get an appointment with Dr. Saperstein? The Princess Warrior showed the evil Mondo what she was made of. 70% water, 12% body fat, and between you and me, a bit of silicone here and there, mostly there. The moral of the story is that princesses rarely give head. But when they do, watch out. Mondo was vanquished, but wherever evil lurked, or wherever cute outfits were on sale, Susan, Princess Warrior, would be there, and looking like $1 million.
Man, that Mongo was one mean, shiny scalp dude, huh? But did you recognize the actor, sports fans? That was famed shot putter Brian Oldfield. You know, if he had used some of his throwing experience in this movie, he would have had a lot less trouble with Macho Woman. He could have just stood at a distance and tossed stuff at her. But of course, hindsight is always 20/20. Coming up, a dance you don't want to sit out. Whoa, you ain't going nowhere. We'll be back with more fast food films after this. Food Films, movies cleaned, dressed, and processed for your enjoyment. Our next abbreviated classic is Blood Orgy of the She-Devils. It's about a society of demon-worshipping women in cute little dresses who drive men mad before sacrificing them in gruesome ways. Ooh, this isn't sounding all that far-fetched. It was directed with a personal touch by Fast Food Films' favorite, Ted V. Michaels. He shot it in his own castle in the mountains above Glendale, California. And he even makes an appearance in the film himself. That's Ted with the needle. Ouch. Well, you know, art can be painful, as you're about to find out. Here's our Fast Food Films take on Blood Orgy of the She-Devils.
Mara Stewart, Black Magic Living. Today, human sacrifices on a budget.
As my will, so mout it be.
No fuss voodoo dolls. And possession by a beloved relative.
Welcome to Mara Stewart, Black Magic Living. I'm Mara Stewart. As you know, I'm a practitioner of the black arts, and therefore do not need to move my mouth when I speak. Today, I want to give you some tips for making the most of your voodoo dolls. If you're like me, you're always receiving unwanted house guests. It's easy enough to buy a machine-made voodoo doll at a highway rest stop or a wigs and novelty store, but I find nothing beats the quality of a handmade doll. They're a great way to give your guests the hint that they've overstayed their welcome. First, you'll need to find some skin or hair from your subject's body. I like to dig beneath the fingernails, but you can use a hairbrush or a loofah. You'll need to familiarize yourself with the proper siali, or ritual chant. Be sure to speak in a clear, distinct voice.
I conjure the powers from the four corners of the earth.
Now, I like to place my voodoo doll in a good-sized mason jar of fire ants. They don't have to be fire ants. Chiggers are also good. I've starved my fire ants for about 3 weeks to make them especially cranky. If you follow these simple steps, you should begin to see results.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Nothing sends a clearer message than a homemade voodoo doll. Of course, if you don't want to deal with the mess and bother of ants, you can always use more traditional methods. Finally, if you're short on time, you can try a technique I call the underwater photography spell. For this, I recommend lukewarm distilled water, and don't substitute carbonated water or ginger ale here.
As my will, so mote it be.
It used to be that you had to be an experienced witch to channel the spirits of the dead. Next, I'll show you a quick and easy way to lend your body to your dead relatives.
Let me explain to all those who have not been with us before that I am about to call upon my Indian guide, Takawana. My body will host them, and they will speak to each of you through me.
Be sure to have a change of underthings ready. Most people soil themselves during the transformation.
You squaw by right hand. You hear me? You know be going have papoose. You burn 'em hair in fire.
A note of caution here. Be sure to purge the visiting spirit from your body. Otherwise, your immortal soul will be lost forever, and that's a big pain. A ritual sacrifice can be a great opportunity to entertain your friends, your business associates, or your brainwashed slave girls. Around my house, I enjoy turning an ordinary sacrifice into a delicious dinner party. Remember to put down a tarp or drop cloth. I've learned the hard way how difficult it can be to get blood out of carpet, especially for those of you who still have tacky, short shag carpet. My chef does a terrific leg of man. With some baby greens and a glass of Cabernet, you've got yourself a hearty supper. And of course, save your bones for stock. That's all our time for today. Join me tomorrow when I'll share some highlights from my recent visit to Salem, Massachusetts. And I'll show you how you can add realism to your murder mystery parties.
Mara Stewart, Black Magic Living, is sponsored by Coven Roll-On. Strong enough for a man, but made for a witch. Keeps you dry, even when the heat is on.
You know, during production of Blood Orgy of the She-Devils, strange things kept happening to the cast and crew. In fact, the movie almost took a tragic turn during this scene. Right in the middle of it, the wind shifted and Ted Michaels nearly had a real burning of the stake in his hands. Hey, one of tonight's performers has an award named for him. Or her. Can you guess who? Just let it idle for a minute or two. We'll be back before you know it. Food Films highlight a masterpiece of murder and would like to purchase the original full-length home video version of the film. Visit your local video store or have your credit card ready and call 1-888-568-3320 or send a money order to the address on your screen. If you want to own your own personal copy of the full-length home video version of Blood Orgy of the She-Devils, contact the Peter Rogers organization through their website. And if you want the uncut and uncensored They Call Me Macho Woman, visit the Trauma website or call their toll-free number. Hey, which of tonight's performers has an award named for him? That would be Olympic shot putter Brian Oldfield. He's such a honcho in the tossing world that they named the Brian Oldfield Cup in his honor. And believe me, you need a cup if you're gonna throw heavy rocks around. Well, we hope you enjoyed our take of these classic films that Hollywood might not remember, but we can't forget. Come back next week for more bite-sized movies served up our way. Thanks for visiting Fast Food Films. Please pull forward. Good night. Food Films.